Hey, it's Mrs. Reichelt, and we are moving into section 18. I think this video will go through 18 through 22, so we'll do the entire page of notes. So let's go ahead and start off with the autonomic nervous system. So there's a pair of spinal nerves at each vertebrae for a total of 31 total pairs. Okay, so that means that each spinal nerves is paired, so we have 31 of them. This is formed from the fusion of the ventral and dorsal root of the spinal cord, and the spinal nerves divide after leaving the spinal cord. So that means that from the spinal cord, each of those nerves kind of break off and go their own way. Okay, so still in section 18, you have the dorsal rami. Okay, this serves the skin and muscles of the posterior trunk. Then remember, dorsal means back. Then the ventral rami is a complex form of networks for the anterior trunk. So next up are the major differences between the somatic and the autonomic nervous system. So in the somatic system, we have one motor neuron. The effector is going to be skeletal muscles, and the neurotransmitter will be acetylcholine. For the autonomic nervous system, we have pre-ganglionic and post-ganglionic nerves. This deals with the effector muscles, or the effector organs are going to be smooth muscle, cardiac muscle, and glands. So remember, this is the stuff that's voluntary. Then autonomic is going to be everything that's involuntary. So again, the somatic deals with skeletal muscles, autonomic, smooth muscle, cardiac muscle, glands. Then the neurotransmitters are going to be acetylcholine, epinephrine, and norepinephrine. Okay, so next section goes through the differences between the sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic. So this is still we're in our the autonomic nervous system. And remember, the autonomic is divided into the sympathetic and parasympathetic. So sympathetic deals with fight or flight. It's our response to unusual stimuli, and it takes over to increase activities, and it's the E division. Remember, we had the emergencies, excitement, and exercise. Parasympathetic, on the other hand, deals with the housekeeping activities. This conserves energy, it maintains necessary body functions, deals with homeostasis, and it's known as the resting and digesting division. Okay, so now we are in Chapter 8. So Chapter 8, we're kind of going to do a little flyby. We'll cover the eyes in most detail compared to some of the other senses, but Chapter 8 really deals with special senses versus general senses. So general senses include temperature, pressure, and pain. Special senses deal with smell, taste, sight, hearing, and equilibrium. Okay, so the eye and vision. So 70% of all of your sensory receptors are in the eye. There are over 1 million nerve fibers in each eye, so a lot of your senses actually go directly to your vision. So, okay, let's see. So the lacrimal apparatus, you'll need to color each one of these. I'd like you to color the lacrimal gland, which is up here, okay, the duct, the canals, the tear sac, and the nasolacrimal duct. So the major function of the lacrimal apparatus is to protect, moisten, and to lubricate the eye. The lacrimal apparatus also empties into the nasal cavity. That's why when you're crying, when you're crying, you realize that as you're crying that your nose starts to run, well, what happens is that gland is going to put fluid into your eye, so if that's your eye, and then eventually that drains down into your nasolacrimal duct. Some of those tears maybe spill over but ultimately they go into your nasal cavity. So the properties of the lacrimal apparatus is that they produce tears. Tears are a dilute salt solution, and those tears contain antibodies and lysozyme, so they help to clean and protect your eyes.